What's your opinion of the market with where it's at now, the projection over the next 5 years, and then talk to me about that first, and then we'll talk about what recommendations you'd have for someone that's getting in the business now.
Sure. Yeah, I think that this industry, again, maybe it's because I'm in it, but always seems like everybody talks about how volatile it is, and we've been on this like kind of up streak since we started, really, in 2008. And so this is like the longest streak of good real estate market that there's been. Saying that, you go into every year, and whether it's the Home Builders Association of Michigan or the National Home Builders Association or Chase Jamie Dimon or whoever, is always kind of saying like, okay, we have these issues coming in, but there's no like big projected downfall. And I don't think there was a big projected downfall in 2006 either, but you just feel like we've been going up for so long that there's probably something's going to happen soon. And, but saying that, we're still all in. Like we re-anteed up on our specs. We put more money in last year in specs than we've ever put in. And that's where it gets risky as a home builder, is we're putting a lot of money out there hoping that they're going to sell for what we projected them to sell at and still feel comfortable doing that. And our projects are 2 years long. So I'm at least thinking they're going to, we're good for 2 years.
So let's talk about that a little bit. I think that's a nice transition. So let's talk a little bit about how you've structured your business intentionally. We're talking about local market, being hyper-focused. You've intentionally kept your team small to where you each have individual roles. Your skill sets complement each other very, very well. You're clear on your price category, building that $1.5 million to like $4 million house in the most desirable communities. We haven't really talked about how you divide up your projects. Mm-hmm. So talk to us a little bit about how often do you want to start a project? What percentage? You mentioned spec. Some people might know that spec is a reference to building a home on speculation. So in the Birmingham market in Michigan, we have a lot of relocation buyers. And Dan just mentioned that it takes essentially roughly 2 years to build a house here, because you have, and you can speak to all the things that go into the timeline, but you have permit delays, utility disconnects. You're essentially building infill real estate, which is pre-existing housing that's already developed. You're tearing down older homes, building new construction homes with different floor plans and designs that meet the demand for the modern buyer in that community. And so because we get a lot of executives and athletes that relocate in and out of the state, they don't have 2 years to build a house from scratch. So we have one of the strongest spec building markets by far in the state, and maybe one of the better spec building markets in the country, because there's always a demand for move-in ready new construction product in this marketplace. And so what percentage of your business, Dan, mm-hmm. is spec building, where you're building homes with private money, your own capital or investors' capital, in anticipation of selling it on speculation to a buyer, versus doing like custom client builds? Mm-hmm. Talk to us about that division and how that works.
No, it's a good question. And I still don't know if this is the right answer. Like, as far as like our business is concerned, it seems to be working out okay, but we try to do about 50-50. That'd be ideal. But really, I go on the quantity of customers. Like, because we're so small, I do all the customer interactions, all the design meetings, all the meetings like that. Like, I only have so much time to put towards a customer. Dustin's time out in the field when he's managing it, when we're building a spec home, we're the designers of it. So if something doesn't go exactly right, we can make a decision on the fly in 5 minutes and change that. When you're involving a customer, that could turn into like, 5 people need to go back and forth, talk to their grandma about it, talk to their designer about it. It takes hours or days or a month to get an answer. And so it's really a lot more time consuming to build the custom home. So I try to keep that number to like 3 or 4 customers